and welcome to the Knitterarium podcast. I'm Ruth, your host, and I'm a knitwear designer here in Westmeath in Ireland, where this podcast is coming to you from. Today is Saturday the 29th of April and this is episode 17. Thank you if you are a returning viewer. I really appreciate that you keep coming back week after week to check out my podcast. And I really appreciate all of you taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. If you are a new to me viewer, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this episode and I hope you stick around. Some of the admin stuff first to begin with. The places you can find me online. You can find me on Knitterarium.com, which is my website, and on my website you will find the stories for the Ladies of Legend. You'll find links to all the patterns and you'll be able to sign up for my newsletter, different things like that. You will also find me on Instagram as Knitterarium. I am the most active there. You will also find me in the Ravelry group Knitterarium. If you just search under the groups tab on Ravelry for Knitterarium, you will find us. And it is in the group that you'll find all knit along news. You'll find the episode show notes where you can answer the podcast question to you. There's an ask me anything thread, an introduction thread, let's chat, lots of different things in there. And I'm also fairly active in there, so you'll find me in there too. And I will put links to all of those down below in the down bar so that they're easy for you to access. The things I have to talk to you today are, we're going to have some in the design corner. We are going to have some happy feet on the Shawl Shelf. A small little bit of knit along news where we are wrapping up one of the knit alongs and starting another one. I've also got a book review for you, some Chitty Chitchat, and then we'll finish up with the podcast question to you. So I think with all that out of the way, we will grab our knitting, we'll make ourselves comfortable and we'll get started. The design corner of the podcast is all about taking a look at the inside world of Knitterarium. And this week I don't have a story to share with you. I might do that next week because I'm doing a book review and I don't want this episode to be overly long. But I have been busy. On the mannequin, first off, we have Neve. This is Neve. She's the 5th Ladies of Legend shawl. She is in editing and in testing at the moment, but that's just a little quick sneak look at her. Not really sneak really because you're seeing the whole lot really. What else have I been working on? Oh, I started Grania, which is the 6th and the last shawl in the collection, and she's been kept here in my Daisy Stitches bag. And you'll have seen pictures of this now. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll see lots of pictures of this. This wonderful grey yarn. I'm using this beautiful grey yarn from Life in the Long Grass. This is a specially dyed up grey, so I don't know what the name of it is, but it's from Life in the Long Grass and it's 100% superwash merino. And I am also using these, focus, these beads on the design. Now with all my patterns, just because it says use beads, the beads are optional because I know some people find the thought of adding beads a little bit daunting, and that's fine, that's okay. You just work the stitch as normal and omit them if you don't want to tackle that. It's not a problem. So we'll have, this has grown quite a good bit. I'm going to this is Grania so far. So she's quite bunched up now at the moment on the needles, and the yarn is all caught around it. So this is Grania at the moment. So as you'll see, garter stitch, and we have some simple lace, and then the beads are on the lace. So really you're getting a good old look at this one. Normally I keep it just as a sneak peek, but as this is the last one, I think we'll have a good old look at it. So it's growing quite long. I'm knitting this on my 4mm chow goose, on my interchangeable chow goose, and I'm using a size 6 bead. It's a Debbie Abrams bead. Let's see, it's color number 56, and it's a size 6 bead. Actually, hold on. That's it there. I seem to have a creaky chair today. Very creaky. So that is Grania. So she is moving along. She's moving along quite quickly. So she is, and I'm enjoying it. It's quite relaxing. It's a simple lace that's worked into garter stitch sections. So it is it's lovely for working on. And the other thing I've been working on this week are the my dearest, loveliest Elizabeth socks. They are really coming along. I am using this lovely holly blue from Sherwood Yarns. This is the tag. Sherwood Yarns. This is the BFL sock, and you get 385 meters to 100 grams. So this is the holly blue colorway, and then for contrast, if I can find it, is this blue steel colorway. So this, if you know the To Darcy with Love pattern, you'll know that these are the same colors, but they're going to be worked in the opposite coloring. So the main part of the sock is going to be in the holly blue colorway, and then there'll be contrasting cuffs and toes in the blue steel. So the opposite to what To Darcy with Love is. That was deliberate. I deliberately picked the colours that way. Something that one way would suit Darcy and the other way would suit Elizabeth. I'm going to hold it back here because this one is a sneak peek for the moment. I have completed the leg on sock 2. I think it was just the leg I had completed last week on sock 1. I've since completed the leg on sock 2. I'm now ready anyway for to work the heel flap and gusset and turn the heels on these. So this is, we're holding it all the way back here. This is sock 2. I am knitting these on my 2.25 knit prosings. I'm not sure how you can, but anyway, they're my 2.25 knit prosings that I'm knitting those on. And I'll show you the other one. So this is sock 1, sock 2, sock 1. So they're both at the same stage. So that's what I have been working on. Have I been working on anything else? No, more planning what comes after the Ladies of Legend collection once Grania is finished. It's been more planning what comes next that I've been doing this week. So there's been a bit of planning and pattern drafting and different things like that. So a certain amount of that is computer ended work. And I find when I have days like that, I tend to lose a whole day or two if I have something computer ended work. And it's quite hard to switch from something that's all computer ended and then into designing and knitting. So I tend to clump all computer work into maybe a day or two, do it all, and then take the rest of the week to do designing and knitting if need be. So that's really what has been happening inside the world of Knitterarium. We'll move on now with socks. In our happy feet section, I am still only working on the one pair of socks. I'm still enjoying them so much, although I have been thinking about casting on a second pair. I might. But then I'll have all those whips again and I'm getting them down. So I might just continue with these. So in my little bobbins bag, I have got my 2 Darcy with love socks. And these are, I'm knitting, I don't have the picture again. So I'm going to insert a picture of the 2 Darcy with love socks here now. This is part of the Instagram knit along with the hashtag DarcyCal. It is running until May the 31st. Knit a pair of 2 Darcy with love socks and complete them. Use the hashtag DarcyCal and you could be. We have some prizes and things. So this is sock 1, and I have worked the heel flap and I've turned the heel, and I just need to pick up stitches for the gusset on this one. This is sock 2 actually. So I was down here last week. I had just one repeat of the pattern worked. So I worked the remaining leg, and sorry, excuse me, I'm going hoarse. I worked the heel flap and I turned the heel. Now this is just a closer up look at it. And the heel flap and gusset. The yarns I'm using, this is Eden Cottage Yarns Meadow Rue in the Oakworth 4-ply. And then for contrast, I am using Eden Cottage Yarns Tempo 4-ply in the Driftwood colourway. This is the Driftwood colourway. I really love how these are working up. They're really very pretty. I'm knitting these on my 2.25 Chiaogus. These are my favourite DPNs. So that is sock 2, and sock 1 I have just, oh, it's all in a mess here. I've just started the heel flap on sock 1. I had been, oh, so much yarn. I had been here on these, and I've just started the heel flap on these. So I've made a little bit of progress on those. I took these along when I was visiting some friends during the week, and I got the rest of the leg on sock 2 knit, and I knit the heel flap and I turned the heel while chatting away to some friends. So it was, although there is patterning on the leg of them, I was still able to comfortably knit them and still follow along with conversation. So we'll just, there the balls there, that's the Meadow Rue, and then that is the Driftwood. So they're the 2 yarns I'm using for those. I did take along the prizes for the, just tidying those back up into my my DPN cozies. These are my lovely DPN cozies. I got these from Ellie from Craft House Magic, and I just love them. These are my favourite ones. Oops. These are my favourite ones. I love these ones. This one has a little heart on it, and the other one, now that I'm talking about them, this one has a gorgeous butterfly on it, and it's lovely. These are my favourite. I love these ones. Yeah, so I got those from Ellie in Craft House Magic. I saw she had some. Hi Ellie, how are you? I know Ellie is busy preparing for her wedding, which is next week, so that must be very exciting. So they are the socks. As I said, they are the only socks I have on the needles at the moment. I am debating about casting on another pair, but I'm not sure, maybe. I might. So anyway, back to the prizes for the Darcy Cal. Just to remind you, there's this project bag. It's a fondant fibre project bag with a matching TPN cozy, and they both have this beautiful lace on it here. It's lovely. It's beautiful. And to accompany those, then there is this beautiful Tempo 4-ply in the compost colorway, and this is 75% wool, 25% nylon. So it is perfect for socks, and this is such a gorgeous color. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I took a little stash down for that. And they're the prizes for the Darcy Cal. As I said, I'm not sure what socks I want to cast on, so maybe I'll finish the other ones while I'm deciding that. So I won't actually have a second pair on the needles. We'll just keep going with those while I decide. Let's move on now onto On the Shawl. On the Shawl Shelf is full of just my shawl obsessions and what I make. Now, I have a confession to make. I know I said last week that I would knit a stripe of the deck shawl and I would be finished and it'd be done and we wouldn't be looking at it again. That didn't happen. I did knit more stripes on it, but I got distracted. I got distracted. I was knitting on lots of other things, but I didn't. I did get some, but it's not finished. I know, my bad. So the shawl I am knitting is this the deck shawl by Talitha Kuomi, and this is a lovely. It's an asymmetrical shawl that is worked with short rows. Hang on, I'm just caught up. Just before I started the podcast, I realised I had stopped again in the middle of a row, and I'm not doing that again. So I finished the row. So before I podcast, so I could show you. So you'll see it is. I have this much left to go. To answer, I am here, or I'm here. So I've just this little bit left to go. I am going to finish this today. I was working on this earlier today as well this morning, and once I'm finished podcasting while it's uploading, I'm going to be going back to this. So it is it's already getting quite wide, and it's lovely. So this is just a close-up look at it. The colourways I'm using, colour 1 is this Eden Cottage Oakworth. This is the Tide colourway, this blue, and then this browny colour here is again Oakworth 4-ply from Eden Cottage Yarns in the Twig colourway. And I have to say I love the Oakworth. It's it gives a great crisp stitch definition. It's wonderful, and once you block it, it's not even that it's rough. Once you block it though, it becomes unbelievably softer, so it does. It is 100% New Zealand Polworth wool. That's what the Oakworth 4-ply is. And I have to say it is my favourite. So I'm down to these two tiny little balls of yarn left. So I'm nearly there. This will be finished today. Should I get a lot of interruptions in the remainder of today before evening time, it will definitely be off the needles tomorrow. It will be a finished object for next week. And I know I said that last week, but this week I mean it. Because there's only such a tiny bit left. Like, there's only 2 more stripes. I can't but finish that. There's only 2 stripes. You know, even I can get that done. So that is On the Shawl Shelf. We'll move on into with some of our calendar. As you will know, 2017 is the year of you here in Knitterarium, and we are having a series of shawl cals. We are, tomorrow, April the 30th, sees the end of our second one, which was Believe in Your Dreams. Now, I will be leaving the finished object thread open until Wednesday, May the 3rd. So that is anybody who is knitting last minute on their shawls, you can get them finished, get them blocked, and you'll be able to get them entered into the finished object thread. There is a finished object thread open over in the Ravelry group for you to enter them in. And the prizes, this for the Believe in Your Dreams, we have this beautiful skein of Falkland 4-ply from Eden Cottage Yarns. This is in the Chromer Pier colourway, and this beautiful soft grey, and it has beautiful speckles of tiny dashes of a goldy brown, and in here you'll see just deep blue speckles, and it's lovely, and it is so soft. It's beautiful. You'll really love that. The other prize we have is from Emma of Eldenwood Craft, and we have this project bag. Now this is a definite 3 skeiner, if not more. I have a project bag of a similar size, and it's holding my 3 colour Dying of the Light shawl, and it comfortably holds all the skeins and the project. So this is it's a wonderful size. So it is a wonderful size. So they are the prizes for the Believe in Your Dreams. I haven't nailed down the prizes for the Just Be You shawl knit along. Now the Just Be You shawl knit along is our next shawl knit along, and it begins May the 1st, which is on Monday. It begins May the 1st and it runs until June the 30th. Excuse me. I will check out what prices I have. I will go, I'll take a little route around in some stash, and I will see. We have a couple of things that have been donated as well. And I forgot to mention, actually, just as I'm talking about donations, Karina from Strand Designs, last week when I was showing my treasure trove, I forgot to show you all the 2 skeins of yarn that Karina so kindly donated for our knit along. One of these is for the end of year prize draw, so the big prize that's going on at the end of the year for anybody who has participated in any of the year of you knit alongs this year. They all go into the end of year prize draw, and they get drawn for prizes, and one of these skeins is for that prize draw. One of them is for one of the other knit alongs, and I'm not sure. I might have one of them for this one, and then we'll keep the other one for the end of year. So the skeins, and she sent us, this is Karina's card. The skeins she sent us were this wonderful skein. This one is called April Showers, and isn't this just the most wonderfully speckled yarn in pale blues and greens, and oh, it's just wonderful. And look, there's turquoise up this end and deep navy blues down here, and all manner of shades of green. This is just a wonderful skein of yarn. This one is April Showers, and then she also sent this beautiful one which is called Pebble Beach, and it is beautiful beiges and golds mixed with lavender purples, and oh, this one is just wonderful. It's gorgeous. And thank you so much, Karina. You know, I really appreciate you thinking of the knitters and donating these to us. The knitters are very lucky. You know, I'm kind of a bit jealous that I can't enter to win them, but anyway. But I am full sure that the knitters will thoroughly enjoy these. So we shall keep one of these for the grand prize draw, and as I said, we'll have one of the others for if not this knit along, the next one. I just need to double check what, because I may have actually already assigned certain prizes to the Just Be You knit along. I have to double check that. Now the shawls, I'm saying shawls, I only want to knit one. I mentioned last week that I was thinking of knitting either the 18 or the Sive shawl, and I took out the skeins of yarn to show you those. I need to decide because it starts on Monday, so I really need to, get the finger out and decide. So for 18, which you will have seen in last week's podcast, I'm thinking of maybe using this beautiful, this one is called Chocolate Orange from Strand Designs, and this is Karina's bigger skeins of yarn. There's 600 meters in this. It's 150 gram skein, and it's just 100% superwash merino, and it's beautiful. It's these beautiful creams, and then we have chocolate browns and oranges, and isn't it just gorgeous? This is really lovely. So I have this in mind for that. Then the other choice that I'm trying to decide between is the Sive shawl, and I am thinking of using this gorgeous, this is again Strand Designs, this is Winter Wonderland. This is what is it, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and this is greys and creams mixed with these wonderful browns throughout them. That's this one, and because Sive is a 2-colour shawl, I was thinking of teaming this Tempo 4-ply Falling Leaves from Eden Cottage Yarns with it, just to highlight and bring up the different shades of brown in it. So that was my other choice. I'm still deciding, and I need to hurry up and get it decided. I will be keeping it in my gorgeous, wonderful hedgehog bag from Kira. Oh, it's lovely. I love those. And actually, these 3 skeins of yarn fit into it really comfortably. Really, really comfortably. And there's still loads of space in there. So I need to decide what I'm going to do with that. That is, I think, all that I have for you in the Knit Along news. Other than to say, there is a chatter thread open already for the Just Be You shawl knit along. It begins May the 1st and it runs until June the 30th. So pop over to the Ravelry group and join in. We'd love to have you. Yeah, so we'll move on now into our new section, which is the book review. I mentioned last week that I had received a book from Talitha Kwame, who I am knitting the deck shawl by, and it is her Voyages of Vivian book. This is a knitting book, and it's got 8 different designs in it, and I wanted to take a look through the book, and I wanted to have a read through it, so I could give you a good proper review of it. Now the book is set out as a series. I'll read the start of it. Okay, so it starts off with the fictional character Vivian Lamore, and she has a friend, Mrs. Crosby, from Mrs. Crosby Yarns, and Mrs. Crosby sends her on like a hide and seek game that they used to play when they were children, and she when she figures out her clue and she finds it, she gets yarn of which she knits something with that yarn. So you get the knitting patterns as well as getting to experience the journey she takes and the clues, and it's such a wonderful concept. It's absolutely brilliant. Now the letter I'll read you the letter actually that begins the whole thing off. Dearest Vivian, if you are reading this, our journey has begun. Upon Finding out you were going on sabbatical, I just knew we should revive our childhood game of hide and seek. Truly one of my fondest memories. I chose to start here in Easton, knowing you would peruse this, our favourite autobiography, The Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands. When we last met, you were wearing that delightful hat made in carpetbag. It seems like the perfect way to begin. Allow me the pleasure of leaving you a few more skeins of carpetbag, and starting us off, as always, with your first clue. As my own father was fond of saying during his time at Bletchley Park, and now the game is afoot. Yours ever, Mrs. Crosby. So it starts off with those letters and those clues, and the yarn is received. And so the first place that we are in is Massachusetts, because I don't know America, so it's Massachusetts is where we're starting off. And this is the wonderful hat that is knit out of that carpetbag yarn. See this beautiful hat? That's the hat that is also on the cover of the book. This beautiful hat here. So that there is this is the hat. So this is the first pattern, and there is a clue then, which she has to figure out where her next destination is, and so on and so forth. It goes through them. The next place that is visited is Iceland, and we have this beautiful. It's a cowl, but it has a triangular front, so it's going to sit down like a shawl when you wear it, like a neckerchief, but it's a cowl and it's beautiful. Another view of it. There's a view of it there and there. But there is that. That's the second pattern. And after Iceland, she visits Ireland. So I shall read you. Actually, I'm going to read you the letter that is for Ireland. And it goes, Dearest Vivian, Kate Míle Fáilte, you are a bonny lass of intelligence and adventure. I do hope all the James Joyce references weren't too tedious. My stylish lily bucket hat is off to you. Darling, I felt that steamer trunk would be perfect discovery on the fair Isle of Arran, and I do hope you agree, but I digress. Let us resume our adventure. Mrs. Crosby. So she has received yarn that she knits these beautiful fingerless mittens, and they're in the most wonderful. I think there's another picture of them. Yeah, they're in the most wonderful. This is them here. They're in the most wonderful heathery lamb purple. It's beautiful. So Ireland is the third place. Then we move to France, and there is a pattern for this wonderful sleeveless vest. Isn't it lovely? Here's the other picture. Sorry, I'm just searching for the pictures. So this is the other picture here. So this wonderful sleeveless vest. After France, we next move on to Italy. And in Italy, there is this beautiful bolero shrug. Isn't that wonderful? It's lovely. But there is a picture of the front of it there, and again the back. So isn't that beautiful? That is Italy. And there's these wonderful clips throughout the book. These wonderful photographs, and it's filled with lots of these pictures. It's a double page spread before you get to the pattern page itself, and it's beautiful and it's laid out wonderfully. So it is. After Italy, we move on to Greece, and the pattern in Greece is this wonderful sleeveless top. Isn't it wonderful? There's a small bit of patterning here on the bottom. It's kind of like a small little bit of lace. It doesn't look, I don't think it looks too complicated, I'm saying, but it doesn't. I think it's quite manageable. But that's beautiful, beautiful sleeveless vest. Then we move on to Thailand. And in Thailand we get this pattern for this wonderful long scarf that's here. And here's another picture of it here. This beautiful long scarf, and it's got a wonderful patterning on it and fringe. And who doesn't like? I'm gonna have to change my chair. I think for next week. This one's too squeaky. Beautiful patterning onto it. After Thailand, we move to California, and I think this one might be my favorite pattern in the book. There's this beautiful cardigan, and it's got this wonderful color work, just a band of it on the bottom, and the button band is a different color. This is a picture of the back of it. Better look at the patterning. Isn't that lovely? I really like. I think this might be my favorite pattern. It's called the Trek. It's a Trek cardigan, and it's wonderful. I really love that pattern. That was California, and then she returns home to Massachusetts after that. So that was the last pattern in it. And it's a really delightful book. It's lovely. It was lovely to sit and read through it and flick through all the different patterns. It was just delightful, so it was. I really loved it. Now, as Talitha so kindly sent this to me to review, I think it's time to pay it forward. So we're going to have a little giveaway on the podcast. This is our first giveaway. So let me see. I'm going to set up a thread. It's going to be the Voyages of Vivian giveaway, and I am going to gift an ebook copy of this book to one lucky winner. I will gift it to their Ravelry Library. So the ebook version of the Voyages of Vivian is the prize. And what have you to do? Let's see. Well, I want it for subscribers, so be subscribed to the podcast and head over to be a member of the Ravelry group, because it's easier to run it. It's easier to run it over there. And I will set up a thread with a prompt in it, and the prompt will be, what has been your favorite destination that you've ever visited, or would you like to visit? Maybe you have one already planned that you just haven't gotten to yet. So either or is fine. So what has been your favorite destination, or is a destination that you'd love to visit? That'll be the prompt. And so put your answers in there. I'm going to leave it open for, we'll say maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, I think we'll leave it open until, let me see, the podcast on the 13th, I think, of May. I think that's 2 weeks' time. We'll leave it open till then, and I'll have the drawing on the 13th of May for that. So if you would like to win an ebook copy of the Voyages of Vivian with all 8 of those patterns in it, we will head over to the Ravelry group, and just make sure you're a subscriber of the podcast and a member of the Ravelry group, and you can enter it and win that prize. Yeah, so when you get, I'm very appreciative of anybody who's, like that, who sends things on to me, but you have to pay it forward. And hopefully one of you lucky winners will really enjoy that. It's time now for our Chitty Chitchat thread. Chitty Chitchat. What have I got to chat about this week? I don't think I've done anything. This weekend in Ireland actually is a long bank holiday weekend, so I'm enjoying that. We have Monday off. I'm looking forward to that. The children are off school. I don't have to run and race. Oh, my tea. I meant to mention that the tea I'm drinking today is a berry fruits one. It's a strawberry and raspberry one. That's the tea of choice for today. I've not had any coffee, or actually any caffeine really, for the last couple of weeks. And I'm enjoying it. There are some herbal teas I like, and some I don't like. Like if it's got blackcurrant in it, no, don't like that. Or licorice, no, don't like that either. I did have a beautiful apple and mint one a couple of days ago, and it was really delicious. I'm going to try and source an apple and mint one. It was really lovely. I enjoyed that one. I've read another few chapters on my Pride and Prejudice. I've been very good. I've gotten back to it. Where am I now? What's happening? Let me see. Oh, they've come back. Oh, the whole thing over Brighton is going on. That's it. And Lydia is looking to go to Brighton. And I know what happens. Oh yeah, you know what happens next? Elizabeth goes to Pemberley. That's what happens next. So I'm on that. I did read a couple of chapters actually on my Kindle. I read another couple of chapters of, it's called Hammered. It's an Iron Druid collection by Kevin Hearn. I think that's what it's called. I'm not really sure anyway, but that's what it's called. So I have read a couple of chapters of that as well. And I know I ordered a couple of books from Amazon, but I'm going to wait until they arrive to show you. Let me see, what have I been watching? I know I have a couple of episodes of The Last Kingdom that I have to catch up on. I just didn't get time this week to even catch those. So they're recorded and I just have to watch them. I am up to date with The 100. I'm really enjoying that. The end of the world is about to happen again with radiation. Let me see. So they're trying to find a way to stop that or prevent that, or at least ensure the survival of the human race. That's going on in that. Oh, we are watching actually the new episode or the new series of Prison Break. That I'm really enjoying. That's on Monday nights with us. I'm really enjoying that. That's all. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Pretty sure there was other things I watched. Oh, how could I forget? Last weekend, I started on Saturday night after the podcast. I watched 2 episodes of the Pride and Prejudice series, the BBC series with Colin Firth. You know, the one where he established that he really was the best Mr. Darcy. I watched 2 episodes on the Saturday, and I had intentions of spacing it out. They're the same kind of intentions I had of finishing the deck show. So Sunday evening came and I thought, I'll just watch maybe one more episode of it and then, I'll enjoy it. No, I watched the whole lot, all 4 of the remaining episodes, and I watched the entire lot of it. So I did. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I put it on and I sat and I watched that and I did, and it was lovely. So that's what I did watch. Trying to think, next week's podcast, I'm not sure. I won't be recording on Saturday, which is my normal day for recording. My youngest son is making his first Holy Communion next Saturday, so I'm going to be rather busy with that. So I'm not sure when I'm going to get a podcast next week. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe on Friday I might try squeezing in a quick podcast. We'll see. Get that in. Or maybe on Sunday. We'll see. I know that's happening. And I'm gone all croaky again. Has there anything else been happening? No, my husband's birthday is during the week. So we're going to have to celebrate that. Well, we don't have to. That sounds so wrong. We will be celebrating that, shall we say, with cake. Yummy cake. Maybe I should get them to make a coffee cake, just so I can have a little fix of coffee. I think really that's all that's happening really. It's very quiet. Nothing really exciting happens, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But this is no reason, for any sort of excitement to start happening. So really, I think that's it all. I don't have a podcast question to you this week because I've given you a prompt for the ebook of the Voyages of Vivian. So if you want to answer that question, like you do the podcast question, that's what I'm putting in place. There will be a dedicated thread for that, so you can pop along to that and enter that. So that is really the podcast question to you. And also, if you have a question or something you're curious about, it doesn't necessarily have to be a question. If it's something even just that you're curious about, just pop it down below, or there is a dedicated Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group if you want to put it in there, and I will answer it either there or here on the podcast, whichever is the most appropriate place for it. So really, that really brings us to an end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button and be sure to hit the subscribe button, because that is the only way to stay up to date with any new episodes that get uploaded to the channel, is by hitting the subscribe button, and all those buttons are down below here. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a relaxing knit-filled week. Happy knitting. Bye.